Hey boys and girls, Doug Giles here. It's Warriors, Rich,
and really wild men.
Giant Slayer coffee once again. You see it? It's beautiful.
I haven't tried it because nobody sent me any.
Yeah, this is my first bag. You know, we're spawning this stuff, and they won't even give me a sack of it. It's like,
you need to give me a sack of it so I can say whether it's good or not.
No, it's definitely good. And again, ministry down in Nicaragua pumps this stuff out, and all stuff goes to the spreading of the gospel. And you know what, Rich? We paid, this ministry pays their workers 4x compared to what all the other coffee farms and stuff are doing in the locale. Giant Slayer Coffee, wake up and kick some ass. Don't send your money to Starbucks or some other little Lillifair type coffee shop. Hey, Giant Slayer Coffee.
I was in Philippines, and Philippines is really good at copying and ripping off stuff. I don't if they get mad too bad. I don't know if
that's racist, Rich.
Yeah, what ifs. So when you go there, they say copyright means copy it right. And so I was driving down the road, and I wasn't driving. I was sitting in the car, but I looked and I saw a Starbucks logo on the left. I was like, that's Starbucks. And I turned and I looked. Doug, it's the exact logo, right? Same color on top of this coffee shop. But instead of the Medusa-looking chick in there, or whatever she is, mermaid, I don't know, whatever that is, it's a duck in the center, and it says Starducks. Come on, man. That is awesome.
Hey, brilliant, man.
No, got to get Giant Slayer coffee. Don't get Starducks.
Yeah, no Starducks. Hey, we're going to talk about, I gotta take a break, Rich. I got to have a break, man. Sometimes Doug gets tired of talking politics. Let's go to the heart of the matter. Let's talk about family, in particular, Warriors and Wild Men junkies. Let's talk about raising boys that radical feminists, like occasional Cortex, that they'll hate.
Yes.
Is that a dicey topic for you, Rich?
I think it's a good topic. We need to raise real men. Starts
Absolutely,
at home.
man. That's more important than, Yoko Ono using a tuning fork before she goes off on one of her wafty quote-unquote songs. It's very important in our day and age.
I don't even remember who she is. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so feminists would love nothing more, Warriors and Wild Men listener, than to take your son and eradicate his masculine uniqueness. See, ladies and gentlemen, boys were created by God and nature to dwell in this thing called a testosterone fog. God did it, he saw it, he said it, and he said it was good.
Yep.
And but, Rich, the feminists, they say, oh no, that testosterone in your boy, that's pure evil. It's toxic, and we've got to drive it from your son. The radical feminists, they hate men. Therefore, guess what? They're going to hate your boy. And you, the parent, you've got to raise your son to be a man instead of a rouged and lipstick giddy American Idol hopeful.
Come on.
That's why I think 10 years ago, I wrote this little book, Raising Boys That Feminists Will Hate. And I don't even have boys, but I am a boy. I'm a boy at heart, Rich. So I kind of think, and plus I read, up and down, left to right, and I see that God has some prescribed paths for boys to take, and so I think I can talk about it. My book on raising righteous and rowdy girls, I think it was 200 pages. This one, look at this thing. This thing is wafer thin, man.
Yep.
Everybody's like, how come your book on boys is so much smaller than your book on raising righteous and rowdy girls? Like, well, girls are complicated. That's why. Boys, we're simple. We have a penis, and we want to knock over stuff with it. That's pretty much...
Yeah,
so it's a small book.
That's a lower animal nature, but...
It's the lower cortex monkey brains, what I call it. So the parent... especially in the United States of liberal acrimony, when they have a little boy, my oldest daughter Hannah, she's got a bun in the oven right now, Rich, and it's a little boy, another grandson for me, and my first one is so delicious. My granddaughter is so cute, and she's got another one that's going to pop out on the planet. And again, I think it's more important than keeping Biden out of the White House is making certain that your kid grows up to be a provider, protector, hunter, and hero under God's governance. And so I think, with the parents, man, their daunting mission is to go against the grain. And in order to do that, they've got to have a creedal or. And I think the Word of God, in particular, in the book of Genesis, lays it out. 6 easy points. You want to roll through them, brother?
Let's do it.
Talk to me while I turn the pages.
I think that that's one of the key things in America. We're getting rid of masculinity. We're getting rid of men, and the way it's happening is we're surrounding our children by women. We're surrounding our young boys by women. Women teachers, moms are at home, single moms raising kids. Dads aren't around. Dads are too busy. They don't have enough input. Kids are surrounded by women, and they're saying, you know what we all want? We all want a caring man. Well, thanks for projecting your brokenness and your wounds onto our sons. And how are we going to conquer the world and kingdoms and goals and smash things if we're busy worrying about, oh, you want to be super sensitive and careful? And no, we don't. We want to break things.
No.
We want to go out and smash. Why do boys break all their toys? Why do they? Because they're boys. That's why. Boys break toys. That's what they do.
That's why I think the greatest toy that a parent, aside from a toy gun, that can get a young boy, and a toy gun for the girls, of course. Don't want to leave them out at all. I think the greatest toy, as a granddad, I'm so convinced about this, Rich, that it's basically all that my garage is now filled with for my grandkids to play with is boxes. Because they tear everything else up, and in the end, they'll tear up the damn box. But you know what? The boxes are pretty cheap, man. If you're addicted to Amazon like we are and have stuff shipped every 4 hours, our garage is filled with boxes. And they're like, hey, Granddad, can I get a new toy? I want a big truck. I say, you see that box over there? I'll draw wheels around it. There's your truck, buddy.
Boom.
He'll jump in that thing, pull the top over, and next thing you know, he's slaying T-Rex or something like that.
Yeah. And there were almost indestructible toys at one time. I don't think they make them anymore. Remember Tonkas? If you had a real steel Tonka truck and you left it in the driveway, Tonkas, yeah. And if somebody, your parents backed over that truck, you broke their car. Like, it didn't break those Tonka. You broke your body on a Tonka truck. Those things were awesome, man. But probably nobody wants one of those anymore.
Dude, you remember those swing sets that we used to have?
Oh,
metal?
Yeah. And when you swing so high, one of the legs comes off the ground when you get it going really high. Those are the best.
Yeah, brother.
I've been hurt on those more than anything.
Bro, that's what we strove for, is to flip the swing set over. Or we would get somebody in the swing and we'd push them so high we would try to wrap them around the top bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our parents are back there laughing their ass off, drinking Coors. Yeah, let's see if Doug can wrap Charles.
Let's see if we get some more stitches again.
Yeah, we lived in the hospital, broken arms, broken legs, and we didn't have helmets on and little knee pads and elbow pads and shin pads. We jumped ramps, broke teeth, and and had a great time.
We built a ramp one time in the front yard, Doug, or in the street when I was little, probably maybe 8 or 9 years old, and it was so wobbly and terrible. Like, we just threw some things down, put a board on it, and it was almost straight up. You know when you don't build them right and you just go straight up in the air and fall down? And my mom comes out and says, you guys aren't jumping that ramp. Tear that thing down right now.
Shut up, woman.
You know what I told my mom in front of all my friends? I'm standing there on my bike, and I said, hey, it doesn't matter. You could tear down that ramp. There's one made out of a hill down the street. You can't tear that one down. We'll jump that one. My mom came over and smacked me across the face, took my bike away. I wasn't jumping nothing. So I was learning about respect that day. But that ramp was down the street, Doug. You can't tear that one down. God made that one.
Hey, talking about a ramp like that, we had this kid in our neighborhood that, he's just a jackass, and nobody really liked him. Just socially awkward, but mean at the same time. And I was, I'm still a skinny, frail little chihuahua, and but I had a big mouth, and I like to scrap and stuff. So always talking smack back and forth to him.
Yeah.
And then one day we were building ramps out in front of the house, and old Bradley comes by and he goes, I can jump any ramp you can build, man. I was like, really?
All right.
Let's get to work, shall we?
Accepted.
So exactly what you said.
And then you built a ramp over the Grand Canyon, over the Snake River.
We had, right. We got a rocket for you, and there's a canyon north of where Rich lives, and we'll see you there at 4:30. So anyway, we got all this stuff. Got milk crates, center blocks, just box, and we got this long, ramp, this big, long, skinny plank, and but the height wasn't good enough, and so my brother said, let's get our next door neighbor's radio flyer red wagon to serve as the base for this ramp. Great idea. So we got the red wagon. We got all the stuff stacked in the red wagon. We got the big plank. It's beyond a 45 degree
wobbling
angle,
like
probably
a cartoon.
70 and it's skinny. It's like 10 inches wide. And he's on a 10 speed, brother. A
Oh
frickin'
yeah,
10 speed.
you don't jump 10 speeds. Everybody knows that. You got to jump
Yeah,
a Huffy.
So check this out. He gets about, I don't know, a quarter of a mile. I never got that far back when I'm
Yeah,
going
you
to go
get
out a
tired.
ramp. No, I don't. I think, what's the farthest you got? Like 10 yards?
Yeah, man.
20 yards? Get up and go. Boom. Stick it. So anyway, he gets, quarter mile down. He gets tired before he gets to the ramp. And my dad's in the front yard going, boy, don't you do that. Boy, you're going to get hurt. And boom, he hits the ramp and he just launches straight up in the air. And just like Evel Knievel in the Snake River Canyon, just bam, just front wheel into the pavement, head right into the sidewalk. And we're sitting back there going, yeah, laughing our asses off at him. So,
And we all have that story in some variation, and that's one of the things that made us who we are today.
I tell you, one of the one of the worst things that I'd ever saw happen. We were jumping ramps over at my buddy Tim's house, and he lived next door to Chip, and Chip, good-looking football player and stuff, and we had, gosh, I think we had about 7 or 8 dudes there with their little Huffies and whatever kind of motocross bike was just coming out from those Vistas and Schwinns that started emerging. I think they cost like $50 black. As soon as you landed, the whole frame breaks and stuff like that. So anyway, we're jumping ramps and a pretty decent ramp. So we're like, let's jump people.
Oh yeah, that
sounds like a
that
good
has
idea.
to happen. That has to happen.
All right, let's jump people. So I went to public school with the smartest knife or the sharpest knife in the drawer, and I can't be a pussy though. So I got to be one of the stooges that gets under whomever is going to launch their crap bike over these poor, pieces of flesh. So I wasn't number one right off the ramp because I figure if the ramp collapses,
You don't want to be under that.
Yeah, you don't want to be eating that. And so I went to number 2, and my buddy Todd, he was the 10th man in the whole lineup. So we're sitting there, it's a shame we didn't have the video phones back then like we do now. Chip hauling ass, boom, hits the ramp, didn't get enough speed up and stuck his tire right in Todd's mouth and just broke his teeth in half.
Gosh.
He didn't knock his teeth out, he broke them in half. So he got like the gum line and just cracked them, just gone.
Oh,
man.
gosh.
He's standing up, just
That is terrible.
yeah, that's what boys are for.
Yep.
So
And Todd learned a lesson that day.
he did
Risk
a bloody
versus
lesson.
reward.
All right, so in Genesis 1, in regards to raising boys, I hate to bring the Bible into this,
Do
people,
it.
but
Do it.
But I'm going to. It says, God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to its kind, cattle and creeping things, and the beasts of the earth, each according to its kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good.
Yeah.
Then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all of the earth, over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Then God blessed them and said to them, have lots of sex and fill up the planet and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. All right, so we're talking about raising boys, and you're like, so what did you glean from that, Uncle Doug? Well, I'll tell you. First off, parents, please note, okay, that the cradle God created for his firstborn was wilderness. It was country. It had critters in it. It was some butt-kicking badland. And Rich, God wanted his boy brought up in undomesticated surroundings because I think that the Pharaoh fashions something in a boy that he can't get from staring at his damn iPhone.
Yep.
All right, I tossed to you, bro.
100%. God made us to be wild. God made us to be warriors. That's why we have warriors and wildmen. So that's because warriors, wildmen, prophets, and kings was too long of a name for warriors and wildmen's already pretty long as it is. But we can't become a warrior and a wildman in a protected environment. We're trying to keep everybody safe. We're not trying to be safe. We're trying to maximize our potential. And what is our potential? And I'll tell you something interesting about those verses. Whenever God was going to create something, he spoke to the source before he created it. He spoke to the land and it brought forth. He spoke to the earth and it brought forth the crops. He spoke to the earth, it brought forth the animal. He spoke to the sea, it brought forth the animals and the fish of the sea. And before God created man, he spoke to himself, Doug. We are made in the image of God according to his likeness and image. He is our source. That's where we came from. And he did not make us to be tame. He did not make us to be safe. He made us to be adventurous, adventuresome, wild, and he put them in the wilderness.
You know, it's interesting. You look at these epic biblical dudes and dudettes, is that they a lot of them, man, didn't come from, places where there was antibacterial gel and where there was bike helmets and trans fatty acids. They came from the wilderness. Elijah comes out of nowhere, tells that witch Jezebel to go pound sand, and throws the prophets off the cliff after he beheads them. Same thing with Moses, wilderness. Same thing with Abraham, out of nowhere. And same thing with John the Baptist. Boom.
Had to go to the wilderness.
And you look at Jesus. Once he gets baptized, they're like, "You want to go to Denny's or Ruby Tuesday and celebrate your baptism?" He's like, "No." The Holy Spirit says, "We're going into the wilderness, and you're going to defeat the devil on an empty stomach." That's what you're going to do.
That's right.
So the wilderness and that which is feral and that which is primitive. And again, you can't get it watching it on television. I love watching Meat Eater, Steve Rennell. I love watching outdoor shows. I got a stack of Mark Sullivan hunting videos where he's hunting dangerous game and shooting it right off the end of his gun barrel. I dig all that stuff, but you know what? Old Dougie, old buddy, old pal, took my wife and my daughters when we lived down in Miami, and we went into the swamps and we boar hunted. We went into the ocean, and our girls surfed, in shark-infested waters. Is it safe? No.
Yeah, exactly. Doug,
when did
safe become the goal?
Yeah, it's like, be careful, be safe. It's like, nah, go do something nuts. Go risk your life.
Go ride your bicycle like we were talking about with those pedals with the steel grips on them that go backwards and hit you in the shin.
Heck yeah.
Like, come on, if you don't have scars on your shins, you weren't really living. And what happens to us even as adults, Doug, when we go outside? It affects me in a very positive way when I go out and sit on my porch. When I sit outside, I have a camping trailer. It's not like one of those. I'm not against the big camping trailers that you stay inside with the air conditioning. I'll probably get one of those one day. I'm not against that. But my camping trailer is a bivouac with a tent, a rooftop tent on top that you pop out, and it's got solar panels. Like, I can go out in the desert and stay out there for 2 or 3 weeks with that thing. It's self-contained. There's something about us going into the wild. I went fishing one time at a lake up in the mountains up here, and half the lake was ice, and snow was on this side because the sun hit the other side, right? So I went there to go fishing. There was no one else there. I saw one car pull into the dock area on the second day I was there. Doug, I hiked around that lake in the snow, and it was ice all the way down, snow and ice to the lake. And I thought, this is probably not the smartest thing in the world to do. No phone signal. Nobody knows where I'm at. I can't talk to anybody and tell them I'm okay at any point.
Ooh.
And I'm hiking around this lake with all my fishing gear, and I get on the other side, and I'm sitting in the sun smoking a cigar, and then I'm annoyed because I'm catching so many fish because there's nobody there, literally only me. I'm catching so many fish that I can't relax because I'm getting it on, you know what I'm saying? But there was something about carrying my stuff and hiking in the snow to the other side of this lake. I mean, that we're made to do that. We're made to do that.
Yeah, but
we need to stop protecting our kids. Here's your hand sanitizer.
Boys.
Here's your mask, so you can be a little controlled little
bit
sheep. Yeah, put your mask on. Do what we tell you. It's like, I'm gonna put my mask on as soon as they tell us we don't have to wear masks anymore. I'm wearing one everywhere I go.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear the mask of my youth, a Lone Ranger mask.
I like it.
Or a Batman mask, and I'll do it on my own accord. It's not going to be some government edict where by fiat they tell me to put a mask on.
Yeah.
Again, the wilderness and all the accoutrements that come with it. That's why, always a big proponent of hunting, of fishing, of trapping, because it takes Scooter Jr., again, out of these plastic, environments beyond the pavement to let the creative order carve something into his psyche, again, that you can't get
Yep.
from staring at a damn phone. And so you look at the first thing that's in Genesis. He's like, I'm going to put my boy and his lovely Raquel Welch, boom, smack dab
In the wilderness.
In the wilderness.
And Doug, I ride a motorcycle, right? And people say, well, that's not safe. I know. Well, that's dangerous. Bad things could happen. Yeah, I know. And it's not that I don't think about it. I literally have considered not riding a motorcycle because people I know have gotten hurt. People I know have died. And I consider it. And you know what I think? I think at this point in my life, it's worth it. Because when I get out there, I had a friend, I was having a rough day. I called my friend and said, man, I'm having a hard day right now. I'm not doing good. He goes, brother, you need to get on that bike.
Ride it out.
And you need to get some wind. And I thought, okay, cool. And I hung up and thought, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then I thought, well, I'm going to go get some coffee. I'll take the motorcycle. Took my bike. I was out riding. Got about 3 or 4 miles down the road. And I got happy. And I said, wow, wind therapy is a real thing. You know what? Because I was outside. You could drive a beautiful road. It's a completely different experience to be outside on a motorcycle, smelling it, feeling it, experiencing it. Is it safe? Well, no, but it's risk versus reward. We got to be outside, man. The goal isn't to be safe. It's to live.
Right. Yeah, the whole thing of, be careful. It's like, no, be risky. And don't do, stupid stuff. But that whole, careful attitude that we foist upon our children, I think it kills their faith. Because faith to me, and I got this from Godwin, is spelled R-I-S-K. It's risk related. Yeah. And I had this chick one time. She goes, smoking cigars is bad for you. I was like, no shit. Are you kidding me? and but I don't inhale it. So anyway, just harping. I had also a gay guy tell me that smoking cigars is bad for me. And it's like, so's anal sex. I hear that's also bad for you. So anyway, she got hit by a bus. No, it wasn't cigars, Rich. It wasn't cigars. It was salt. She's like, that's salt. It's white death. It'll kill you.
Salt probably
is
is more dangerous to you at certain ages than cigars. I'll throw that.
Yeah, I'm starting to back off the salt a little bit. Took my blood pressure the other day. It was like 1,200 over 6 million. It's like, I gotta put you away more
Half
since
the
I loved
salt
you for many years.
at dinner tonight.
Yeah, so again, folks, if you want your boy not to be a stooge of the machine, here's another thing, man. These vaccines, and you give your kids over to the public schools, and I'm not a big vaxxer. I don't know too much about it. But anything the government wants to inject me with, you know what? I say no. And then, so you got the kids getting jacked up on whatever, the government says is for their own good. And then you give them to the public school for 8 hours for their education.
So they can pussify them and
Rich,
sheepify
check this
them.
out, man. Check this out, brother. There's a county close to where I live that says we will feed your children breakfast and lunch for free. So you don't have to worry about their food anymore. And
Don't worry about being a
Mary
parent.
Margaret, it's like, I told Mary Margaret I'd yank my. First of all, they'd never go to public school. Second of all, you want to feed my kid what? What's in what you're going to feed him? It's going to make him grow man tits? It's going to shrivel up his testicles? You're not going to feed my kid. You're already destroying his brain with your Marxist propaganda.
Yep.
And so anyway, the wild, folks, the wild. If you want to raise boys that the likes of occasional Cortex will not dig, make sure they get into the wild, sharpen their skills, make them fit.
Take their phones, send them outside.
Absolutely, man. Well, we can't keep in contact with him. Man, he'll come back. My parents never kept in contact with us. They said, you better be back at the house when the streetlights come on. That was it.
My dad walked outside, and we didn't have to be home when the streetlights on because we said that doesn't make sense. We don't. Well, know
that was during the weekday.
Yeah, you know what my dad said? He said, if I walk outside and that streetlight's on, and I don't see you running to our house, I'm whooping the fire out of you. Dude, we would be playing, hanging out. My brother would go, streetlights on. We would drop everything and come flying. My dad would come outside, and we're booking. He's like, hurry up, That was the rule. We would be gone all day. And you know what? Look how we turned out. Well, maybe that's not a good example. But you know what?
Right.
We're not afraid of the wilderness.
So the second thing, not only did God make certain that his initial Earth boy was born in the wild, but he was born to rule and take dominion. I don't know if you guys
Come on.
caught that in Genesis chapter 1. But God designed his first terrestrial son to be a leader, to take charge, and to do this thing, Rich, called exert influence.
Yes.
God did not construct Adam to be a passive clod, some indolent handout addict who abnegates his responsibility to other people and institutes, but rather Adam was to be a bold and imaginative chief.
Yes.
And that's the very thing, my brother Richard, that man-haters hate in men, and they're trying to desperately curb in the masculine kid, in your boy. It's called the can-do spirit.
Yes. And what did the Lord say right there in Genesis? Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. Here comes some good words. Subdue it.
Yeah.
Take dominion. That's what we're here for. We are here to conquer, to subdue, and take dominion. You know, I was watching a show, and it was on psychology and the psychology of the mind, and it was talking about sometimes people think they know stuff that they don't know. And they really studied that. They wanted to know why that was. And you know what they determined, Doug? It's awesome. They said it's actually a survival instinct, because in a dangerous situation, you don't get to look at 10 options. What you need to do is confidently believe in an option, because even if you're not right, you have a better chance of survival. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Subdue the earth and take dominion. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah, so again, you know, the left loathes men who are comfortable in leadership roles. I like it when on television we see all the time, you know, men are stupid, men can't decide where we're going to go eat, honey. I really don't know. And we can't book restaurants. We can't, how do we do this and how do we do that? Please tell me, honey. Listen, there's some things
Every commercial's like that. Oh,
there's
the
some things,
stupid man. Here comes the woman to fix it for you because you're a stupid idiot.
Right.
Every commercial's like that.
Yeah, so there's some things that I toss off to Mary Margaret because it's just not part of my wheelhouse at all, and she's a flippin' expert at it, so it's one less thing for me to do.
Smart.
So I can
She's
go
smart.
into my studio and paint horses and stuff. So anyway, according to the scripture, your son is a natural-born leader. And it's only when schools and people try to drug it out of him or cajole it out of him,
Yep.
or ridicule it out of him, that he turns into, again, a stooge of the machine, beholden to they, them, and the other guy. And that's why you need to
Yes.
tell Johnny, you're going to be a leader.
Come on.
You're not going to follow these dumbasses, and you're not going to become some little spongy little Gumby that, you know, bad people, bad religion, bad ideas can bend you in whatever way they want you to go. That's not what your son is for, my Warrior and Wildmen listener.
Right. And Bob Weiner, you know Bob Weiner, he was
Yep.
the leader of Maranatha Ministries, had over 50,000 college students across the U.S., world missionary. He's an awesome guy, a friend of mine. He told me one time, Doug, we were in a hotel room in San Francisco. He called me up my room and he goes, "Rich, come to my room," and hangs up. You know why? Because he thinks he's in charge. He's Bob Weiner. And I was a young dog, you know, so I go over there and he says, "I'm going to teach you something right now." I'm like, "Okay, I'm all ears." He said, "Join any team you can lead." And I was like, man, that is a powerful quote to live by. Look, we all have to follow him, and we have leaders and mentors at different times. But guess what? You also need to be a leader. You are called to lead. Like Doug said, you are born to lead.
Yeah.
Join a team to lead. You cannot forfeit your leadership and your identity and your calling in Christ because it's easier. I remember I was in speech class, and I didn't like, not speech class, English class, and we were having a debate, and I didn't talk in front of people. I hated it. And the teacher said, "Okay, you have to pick a spokesperson." My team couldn't come up with anything. Nobody wanted to do it. And I was sitting there, Doug, and the Lord told me that I had to speak for our team. And I was like, I don't speak in school. I don't do it. I'm not doing it. And the Lord told me, "I gifted you to do it. If you don't do this, you are failing your team. You are sinning. I gave you the ability." The Lord spoke to me clearly. I was frustrated. I told the team, "I got this. I'll do it." And I got up and I did it. And you know what, Doug? I was so terrified. But the Lord gave me thoughts clearly. I went out and destroyed the other team on the thing, to the point that the teacher came and took the stick out of my hand and said, "You're done. That's enough. Go sit down." Because I roasted them. But you know what? I was choosing to be comfortable because I didn't like speaking in front of people. And the Lord didn't cut me slack on that. I called you to do this. This is your part to play. And guess what, Warriors and Wildmen listener? I don't care if you see yourself as a natural leader or not. You are called to lead in some capacity in some area of your life. If you are not leading in some area of your life, you are sinning, and you're sinning against your calling and your identity in Christ. You are a leader.
So the parent, your job is twofold. Y'all ready? Y'all taking notes? Number one, unleash the leadership beast within your boy. Give him, stewardship over his bedroom. As Jordan Peterson said. Take dominion over that. All right, make it look good. Number two, superintend the leadership in your kid so it doesn't get funky, doesn't get weird, but it's used for the purposes of justice, truth, provision, protection, and take God's lead and show your son how to exercise dominion rather than how to get in touch with his feminine side. Rich, what's the Warrior and Wildman listener supposed to do, brother?
They got to go to warriorsandwildmen.com, like us and love us, subscribe, follow us, find us on social media, hit us up, message us, email us. We want to hear from you. And also, if you want to help support us, hit the war chest, send us some cash and help us push this thing out. I know some of you are starting to do that, and we really appreciate it. It's helping. We've made a big investment in this thing because we believe in people, and we believe in promoting the gospel and promoting manhood, raising up great men, putting brains and balls on believers again. Warriors and Wildmen.